Senior Report thanks Edmund Besch of Bristol Burgess Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street, Westfield, for his generous grant to provide news to seniors. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding for Senior Report is provided in part by a grant from Andrew Goodell, Assemblyman for the 150th District of the New York State Assembly. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. Senior Report with Reed Powers thanks Westfield's Schultz Chevy for a generous grant to inform seniors of important news. Over 50 years of service to Westfield by Chevrolet, Schultz Chevy across from the school. The physicians of Jamestown Primary Care are happy to sponsor the Senior Report. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning out there, and what a sweet, beautiful day we have here in Chautauqua County. Sun is beaming down, flowers are out, butterflies all over. How can you go wrong in this kind of environment? It was as the early French who moved through here in the 1600s, they identified it as a piece of the Garden of Eden. This is a beautiful place, they said. Okay, back to good things. I spent a little time, one of the great advantages we have here in Chautauqua County is parks. We have all kinds of parks. We have especially the Lake Erie State Park, which a lot of people are using now. Nice sights, beautiful, clean place, wonderful, very responsive staff there, and you can't go wrong. So stop in the Lake Erie State Park. The sites are cheap, and they have a 30 amp electrical hookups for those with the air conditioners. And everything's great. Safe signs all over the place. The safe is a so-called safe gun law, which even the vice president himself said would make no difference whatsoever, even though he's a big proponent of new gun safety laws. We only have 35 million of them on the books right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to make too much difference. If you've got a nutcake out there, he's going to get hold of a gun one way or another. He doesn't care how he gets it. He has to. He can go down and buy a $100 Saturday night special at the corner after dark. Don't tell me that the gun laws are having very much effect. Believe me, there's nonsense. And you can't take all the guns away, so that ends that. Lake Erie State Park, I love it. Don't forget, drop by there sometime and check it out, especially if you like to camp. Tent campers are welcome, too. Instead of putting a great big $35,000 truck through there, you can just put in a tent. Yeah, you can go down and buy a tent for, I don't know, I think you can get a 8x8 for something like $40, and a couple of pups, and always needed the mess tent, which is screened in. You put that over your picnic table and put your combing equipment up there, and you're all set. What a deal. Okay, Chautauqua County is doing fine. We have a lot of wonderful events. The best thing of all about Chautauqua County is the profusion of the farm produce that's out now. They have all wonderful markets. The farm markets on usually Saturday mornings in most sites, and Westfield has one, I know, and Dunkirk has one, Fredonia. It's fantastic. You go down and get fresh produce for less than you pay normally, especially if you buy maple syrup, I might add. Oh, yes, maple syrup's gone crazy, the price on it. The French, or I should say, I guess the Chinese are the ones who are really hot on it, and suddenly they're driving the prices crazy because there's such a big need and so little around between New York State and Vermont. It's quite a tedious process, you know, producing a gallon of maple syrup. You got to boil down 40 gallons of sap to start with, which is an expensive proposition. Although they have new game in town, it's called filtration, osmosis filtration, whereby they put up some kind of a diaphragm and the water is held back and it concentrates the sap a little bit, so they don't have to boil it quite as long. Maple syrup, love it. Two top producers in the country are Vermont and New York State. How about that? And incidentally, Vermont used to be part of New York State a long time ago. Okay, we have a good guest, a fun guest coming on, Ron Sellers. He's been on before, and he's the manager, the president of Hospice for Chautauqua County. And Hospice is a great program set up for in most cases, for the end of the line. We all have to pass on someday, and as Ron points out, being born is terminal. You're going to die. So to make it a little easier, there is a program called Hospice. He'll talk about it, and we'll have a chance to explore some of the ins and outs of the program. Okay, we got a lot of senior news, a lot of national news. Gee whiz, the stuff going on the national level is just insane. I can't even get into it. I get aggravated every time I think about it because of the nonsense. You know, you got a dysfunctional Congress, you got a president who seems to be deceptive now. The old Boy Scout image seems to be fading because he's been running a surveillance program on all of us where they're checking our phones, they're checking our email, they're checking everything, and they're looking on, they're photographing us, they're listening in on our calls. It's incredible what's going on here. 7 years he's had this secret program. And he didn't acquire it, set it up himself. He acquired it, but he enhanced it, believe me. And then there's, of course, the IRS going after his political enemies. Holy mackerel, using IRS to hassle and aggravate and penalize people that disagree with you politically. That to me is the greatest sin of all. I just can't understand it. But oh, Obama, I don't know. Time passes, you suddenly fade into your obscurity with a poor image. Okay, I want to talk about the senior board over at Dunkirk. They have a great scene over there, first of all, not to mention senior board. They have an old school which is just beautiful. It has a lap around it where you can go running in the summer. It has a huge, or winter I should say, and it has a huge cafeteria. It has rooms for conferences. It's fantastic. And several senior groups meet there, not just the Dunkirk seniors. They have Carol Kozlowski's quite active over there, and she thanked Delphine Wallenson for preparing flower pots and hanging baskets all around. And they're going to have on Friday, they're going to have Julius Leon, who's an old fireman and quite involved with fire. I think he's the head of the county fire now. And he's going to drop over there and give them a few tips on CPR, the AED. The AED is that thing that checks your heart and gives you a jump if you need it. He's going to get them started. Hello, Office for the Aging. You're going to have a great picnic, and don't miss this, Friday, August 9th at Midway Park, all day. It'll start, I believe it starts around noon, but it might even be earlier. And you can get tickets for a full chicken dinner and everything. It's soup to nuts for peanuts. They're having an ice cream social over at the Dunkirk board, and it'll be on August 6th. $1. Can't beat it. All the ice cream you can eat. Okay, we got a phone call from somebody important. We'll take just a brief break from the good news, and here we go. Randy, you're on.
Hey, Reed. Good morning.
Good morning. Where are you?
I'm not really sure. Clarence Center. I guess I'm at Galen Zip, Just Brother, and I were doing a ride for Roswell today with 8,000 people.
Yeah, I hear
Bike
you.
riding.
I hear you. See, you actually coughed up. You came up with $3 million last time. That's a lot of dough for Roswell.
And Galen, he did good. He got all the extra benefits. He raised over 1,000, and but I did my first for about 10 miles now, and I had to have a little help on the side because I got real dehydrated and real going to pass out.
Yeah, well, you know, it's you're not taking the 1 mile, the 10 mile, are you, or the 100 mile? Whatever
We're doing 45.
45 miles.
Yeah.
That's that's quite a
It's
ride.
beautiful, but I tell you what, you haven't lived till you start a ride. There was 1,700 people started at the same time in the category I'm in right now.
Well, great. Well,
And it was like a big traffic jam.
Oh, I'm sure there was. Well, just stay on your bike. Don't fall off again.
No, I didn't fall off, but I got off, and I was like, oh, here we go. Goodbye, world.
Well, Randy, we miss you here.
So they're still coming to ride. Some are stopping here. It's one of our first rest stops. I finally got some liquid banana in me, and I'm going to get going, Reed. So
Okay.
I just think it's for a good cause for Roswell.
Well, have a happy wheeling, and
Okay, we'll see what happens.
make sure you go all the 40 miles, okay?
We'll try. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye, Randy. We have Randy Burt, who just hung up, and he's on the ride for Roswell, and they raised, you said $3 million, right? They raised,
That's right.
No, they raised a huge amount of money. Ron is telling me that they made a bunch last year. They'll make that much at least probably this year. Nice weather, though. What a day to ride.
day.
Okay, so I was talking a little bit about the senior center. They're having a modified towel bingo on September 18th. Now, I wonder what that is all about. Pinochle, Mondays at 1 p.m. Anybody who likes to play Pinochle, come on over to the Dunkirk Center and join the Dunkirk seniors. Decision was made to purchase new lightweight tables, a few of them. They already got 3 now that they just purchased. The lightweight tables they're a boon to senior centers. You need them for everything. Office of Aging is having a big health care program September 19th. You might put that on your calendar, and you can come down and take a table if you want, or do whatever you want. Final payment due for those going to Atlantic City in August. Hey, the senior groups are fantastic, aren't they? They're all over the place. And they give you a little gambling, and you get the money for the gambling, and they give you free chips. Don't go beyond them, though. And then you get your meal, too. Can't beat it. $25. Sam McLean reported that the center received a grant from New York State to hold free Tai Chi classes. Now, that's an exercise program that's very slow. You see people doing it all the time now, and he's volunteering to teach it. And they'll be meeting Mondays and Fridays at 10:30. So get over there and have some fun. Have some Tai Chi. Good Chi. Chi. I think that's mental stability is Chi, isn't it? Something like that?
I don't know. Chai tea is good, though.
Yeah. You ever try it?
I did.
Yeah, you get stiff?
Absolutely.
I'll bet, yeah. It uses muscles you never knew you had. They're taking a trip to Niagara, incidentally. This is a Brockton, what gang was this one? The Great Bell Seniors. And you know the Presbyterian Church, you're going to stop and visit that, has 6 original Tiffany windows. And you have to take care of those things. You know, after a while, they do deteriorate a little bit, and you'll lose a piece of glass. And you've got to make sure that they stay together. They're going on a 5-day Treasures of Quebec tour. So get your money in if you want to. Call 672-5274 if you want to go along on that. They have monthly potluck luncheons like most senior groups do. And their main courses and desserts take 2 of those tables, 3 of those tables, they tell me. And they're going to change the date of the meetings regularly, which is great because that means that people who have obligations can go to another meeting, and everybody gets a chance at it. And of course, Silver Creek has quite a bunch. Corky Patton is home. Good to see you back from the Lakeshore Nursing Center. Drawings were won by Prowse, Rose Falcon, and Harry Susky over there in Fredonia at Silver Creek. And Clara Griffin and Mary Cogden will be serving cake. at June 25th at 1 p.m. to celebrate the May and June birthdays of club members, and that's all the news I am allowed to put on. I have a little more here, but they're telling me my time is up because it's time for Doc Hamels to come on. But in the first of all, I have a wonderful public service announcement for you, and then we'll move right along with John. Here we go.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
It changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life. Somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
Yeah, join your National Guard. You get military credit and all kinds of wonderful things. This guy is on with us today, and he definitely shoots from the hip. John Hamels, you're on, John.
Good morning, Reed, and good morning, Ron. Good morning, everybody out there in Chautauqua County land. Well, Reed, it's a great day, as you said, with weather-wise. I even put on my bright yellow shirt here just to make it pop here. But I want to model something for you. Don, can you get a shot of this? Look at this here, everybody. If you see us out on the street, tells you that we're the official guys.
Yeah, that's the official
There you go.
hat, and you can't get that unless you're actually integrated into the program.
Right, you got the initiation and everything.
Yeah.
So, Chuck Kelsey, I think we have to thank for that. So
Yeah,
thanks,
well, thank Chuck Kelsey. He started the whole program here.
There you go. There you go. Hey, and you know what? Coming up on the 4th of July, as you know, and you've done in the past, we're going to be out there at the Mayville parade, and we're going to be covering the entire parade. It's like 10 hours long, I think.
It's going to be live,
It's
right?
live. We're going to go in live, and that's going to be something new, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyways, just by way of information, I suppose this is an advertisement, but I'll get to what I want to talk to you about here in a minute. But in case you're looking for something to do this summer, some of this stuff is free. But tonight, me and Bill are going to be playing. We got a busy schedule this week. I'll be over in Frewsburg.
Now, first of all, tell them who you and Bill are.
Bill and I are Irish American folk group, and we're going to be over in Frewsburg at the Corner Coffee House and Bistro at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And you get dinner. It's a great place, great food. The guys are wonderful there. But what I want to cover are the other things that are coming up that Bill and I are going to be this coming week. In Northeast Pennsylvania, we're doing a concert there Thursday night, 6 to 8 at Herd Park. It's just off of 89 there in the town where they have the Cherry Festival. It's a big music pavilion. And then the next night, we're going to be in Randolph for our friends over in Cat County. We're going to be doing the concert over there. I think it's from 6 to 8:30 or something along those lines. And the fun thing is, Reed, these are outside, and to have music and people singing and clapping, it's a great time.
Well, you guys are real champions, I must say. You will go to a senior citizen
Absolutely,
center
yeah.
and will not charge them anything. Is that correct?
And either that or a very nominal amount, but depends on what people offer us. But we play at the county home. We've been over to over at the Lutheran Social Services.
Here and there,
Here, there, and everywhere. We've been a lot of different places. All right, well, what I want to talk about today, Reed, to go beyond all that, is that a lot of people have these iPhones, and if you have an iPhone, you can set up an app for CNN, which is becoming sort of a curse to me, because every time I get a little ding on my phone, I look at it, and guess what I see? CNN, but there's a little blurb, and it'll say, unfortunately, some things that I'm not very happy about. And you alluded to it a little bit ago about gun control. What I keep seeing, and it seems like every single week for the last, 6 months it seems. Now, there might be a little over-exaggeration, but I think it's close to this. Some young, angry man in his 20s, and you can check the ages, I'm almost positive they're all in their 20s, shot somebody. Shot up a school, shot up a supermarket, shot up some McDonald's, or just did some kind of a shooting on a rampage because they're angry. A lot of us come into this world and we're fortunate to have the ability to function well and get along in society. But there are those that come into this world for whatever reason, genetics or chemicals or whatever, and they just don't see the world the same way we do, and they're in need of some mental health. The mental health system has gotten wiped out from the government and at state level, and we've got a lot of these folks that we used to work with. Ron and I were talking about special ed. We're both special eders, and we worked with a lot of these young people, but once they leave school, The support system is very poor. They don't take their meds. They don't have counseling in many cases. And these are the young folks that we're seeing. They're getting hold of guns. So let's go back to the gun control issue. I actually agree with Reed on this topic. I don't think it's take away the guns. I think we need to get help to those that need to get help. You know, I thought about this. There was a knifing. And I thought, well, what are they going to do now? They're going to take away knives or give us rubber knives or something like that. Well, that's what they're doing with guns. The same concept is one person or a bunch of people do some things that are inappropriate, then we just do this carte blanche. I'm okay with controlling guns to a degree, but the approach they're taking isn't working because CNN, every week, I see another young man angry at the world, shooting up people, killing them on a rampage.
Or bombing them like in
Bombing
Boston.
them. Same difference.
Jumping on
and those guys are in their 20s.
Yeah.
Okay? So what I'm getting at is that I think we need to really take a look at our local, state, let's start there anyways, what our services are, and get the monies back in there, get the people back on staff, and let's get these folks the help that they need so that we can control situations like this and get the guns back where they belong and not in their hands. Back to you, Reed.
No, thank you, John. Good. So many cases you hear of a parent or somebody begging for mental health for their child, and they're denied it. Oh, we have a waiting period of months and years or whatever, and they don't have it because the government's not providing it. And of course, one of the first things Cuomo did was cut our mental health budget in New York State, chopped it down to scratch. Fortunately, there was such a hue and a cry, they put some of the money back. Enough said. Ron Sellers, hospice. What's hospice, Ron?
Hospice is a level of care in the healthcare system that provides end-of-life services to patients with people with terminal diagnoses or life-limiting diagnoses.
People are going to croak soon, anyway.
People who are going to die sometime in the next 6 months or 12 months, in the opinion of their doctor or whatever their diagnosis happens to be.
Well, now where
It's
did you come from?
I came from Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo. So you're pretty close by, huh?
I am.
You're an upstate boy.
Yeah.
And where'd you go to school for all this? Where do you learn about hospice?
I learned about hospice from the staff here in Chautauqua County.
They taught you.
Absolutely. And from the patients that we serve and their families. I've had a career in healthcare.
Okay.
Managing and leading hospitals.
What did you go to school for?
I went to school to be a special ed teacher, which is where John and I met.
Okay, and you dropped out of that a while later, right?
I think I failed out, actually.
Okay.
No, I didn't fail out.
They fired you.
I changed careers.
You changed careers. I did that too. I was in education for
As we
18
talked
years.
before, you were at Plainview Old Bethpage in Long
And
Island.
I left, and I'll tell you something, that it's nice to give up part of your life to education, but there are other things out there, other fields, other pastures.
Always new things to explore, new experiences to have.
Do you have a wife and child or children? Or?
I have had 2 children. My older son died of cancer about 9 years ago.
That's very sad.
And my
Very
lovely
sad.
wife passed away.
Yeah, right.
I think I told you about 4 months ago from brain cancer.
Yeah, that's a shame to lose.
So yes, I had and always will have, but currently we're going through some stuff.
Yeah, well, I hope that this doesn't change your outlook. You seem to have a very positive outlook.
You have to maintain that.
In your business, especially.
Yes.
Now, how many people do you take into hospice in say a year's time? So we have some sort of a basis.
Yeah, let me give you a perspective on that.
Sure.
The national statistics are about 0.75% of the population in America will die in any given year. And that holds true to Chautauqua County as well. So that's about 1,200 or 1,300 people in Chautauqua County, our loved ones, will pass away in the next 12 months. Hospice Chautauqua County provides care or services to more than half of those people and their families. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty extensive service.
Especially, I assume the elderly must need the services particularly.
Well, everyone does.
Yeah, well, in my case, my wife is quite ill, and I tried to pick her up. She had fallen down the other day. I couldn't. At my age, I just couldn't lift her. And therefore, I could certainly benefit from services such as hospice that can come in and help you out, let you free occasionally, go shopping, become a human being.
Most certainly. Most certainly.
Because I assume that people taking care of somebody that is terminal is going to be working at it 24/7. They get very little time off unless it's provided by a program such as hospice or visiting nurses or your children or somebody.
Right, when someone in your family has a terminal diagnosis, that's a life-changing event.
Yeah.
You get a phone call from a physician, or you don't feel well, and you get one sentence, you have something, and all of a sudden your life is very different than it was 30 seconds ago. Hospice, most people believe that hospice serves only people who have terminal cancer. That's not true. Of course, we serve anyone who has a terminal illness or an end-of-life illness or a life-threatening illness, whether it be cancer, heart disease, congestive heart failure, Alzheimer's, dementia, respiratory disease, kidney disease, or ALS, or any other disease. And it isn't just people who are old. People of all ages have terminal illnesses.
Well, of course, Alzheimer's does usually catch the older, and unfortunately, it's not necessarily terminal. Although they say they're going to die of Alzheimer's, my mother-in-law got it when she was in her 60s and lived to be 97 years old.
Right.
It's not necessarily terminal. In other words, so Alzheimer's, you'd have trouble qualifying because, as I understand it, you've got to be diagnosed as being terminal within a year or so, right?
The rules are, when hospice was first became certified by Medicare for payment.
Right.
The rules
This is covered by the Fed.
Well, it's covered. Hospice. Let me digress a little bit to answer that. Hospice is paid for by Medicare, Medicaid, all commercial insurances, the Veterans Administration.
You get
and
money from every direction.
Every direction. Rarely does a person or the family have to reach into their pocket to pay the hospice bill. That's less than 1% of the revenue that Hospice Chautauqua County gets is from self-pay. And for people who can't afford it or don't have one of the many coverages available, we have a fund at the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation that helps pay those costs. So it's basically not an out-of-pocket for anything we do.
Okay, great. But back to how does someone with Alzheimer's ever get on the list?
Let's get back to that. When hospice was first certified for payment, the rule was very rigid. 6 months or less certified by a doctor.
That you got to live, and you will be on your way home.
And then there was some reason added to that. It's very difficult for anyone to say you're going to be dead in 6 months. And about 10 years ago, the rule was changed to say if a physician wouldn't be surprised if the person passed away within the next 6 months, which means we take care of people for up to 2 years sometimes. Because you can't tell. And the rule is, as long as there's a measurable decline in a person's health status or ability to function, the doctors can recertify them for hospice care.
Okay. So actually it can go on for quite a while then, huh?
That's correct.
Now what does hospice do, Ron, specifically for somebody you're caring for? Do you prepare meals? Do you
No, we do
give
not
them
do that.
rides? Do you take them to the doctor? What do you do?
We support the family in taking care of their loved one. Number one. So the family has to do and wants to do all the things that are appropriate to take care of the loved one. And our objective is to have people stay at home. And we do that. 97% of the people we take care of are taken care of where they live, whether it be a nursing home, their own home, a relative's home, a senior living facility. They are in a home, not in an institution. And we consider nursing homes to be a home.
Nursing home? That's pretty expensive though, isn't it? I checked one out. It said $6,000 a month.
They are expensive if you're paying for it, but there are many of the people in nursing homes qualify for Medicare, Medicaid, other forms of funding, long-term care insurance.
Medicare doesn't give you much though, does it?
Enough.
Medicaid is a big one.
Medicaid reimburses less, depends on what the reimbursement rate is for a nursing home.
Right. But they do probably get more cases, I'm sure, over the long run.
Nursing homes are pretty full.
Right.
And we're very lucky, by the way, in Chautauqua County.
Yeah, we can get in there on Medicaid.
Well, not only that, we have very good nursing home care in Chautauqua County.
What do you think about the sale, speaking of which, of the county home?
I don't know much about it, so I
You don't want to talk about it.
I can't talk about things I know nothing about. The county home delivers very good care. The people who work there are very committed. It's highly valued by the community, but the reality is what's affordable in this day and age, and what's the best way to structure any institution in order to sustain its viability or keep it operating.
Okay.
And those are issues that have to be debated and figured out.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing, is talking that over.
And the details are way beyond me. I have
Yeah,
no
I know.
information or knowledge
I
or
get
even
it
insight.
from secondhand too, but I got a call. You want to take a call?
Sure.
Hey, good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Hello, Reed. This is Celeste Kearns. I'm not calling pertaining to your guest. However, I do want to give kudos to Hospice, who took care of my beloved mother about 19 years ago, and they are a wonderful organization. I don't know what families would do without them.
I know. Well, this guy, Ron Sellers, is the guy in charge. He makes sure the care is good.
Yes, well, may I change subjects now?
You're going to talk, I'll predict, you're going to talk about cats.
You're right.
Is that why the cat food is there?
Okay, June is Adopt a Shelter Cat Month, and the Westfield Stray Cat Rescue Store, the Thrifty Kitty, and its shelter are open today from 10 to 2, and Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5. We would love to get some of our wonderful cats and kittens into adoptive homes, and this is the month when you can name your own adoption price, which is normally $40, but
Which
we
is
will
a rare
accept-
bargain, I might
Yes.
add.
Yes, we will accept less than that. We hope people would consider something reasonable, because we do put a lot of funding into preparing our cats and kittens for adoption.
Well, I know you do, and you get a lot of, you put out, you actually adopt out 100 cat, 200, 300 sometimes, right, a year?
Well, I wish you were right about that. However,
A lot of
if
them.
we do a little over 100 a year, we're doing pretty
Very well.
well.
It might be 101, because my dear, dear friend of 18 years is shutting down, Benny.
Oh.
Ebony, he's a black cat.
May I also continue with something on a little sadder note?
All right, let's go.
On Thursday, June 13th, the donation box and contents was stolen from our store.
You must be kidding.
And no, I'm not. I wish I were. I would never kid about such a thing. We're appealing to the responsible person to return the money anonymously in an envelope if they would. These donations were given for the support of our store and shelter, and we would like them back for that purpose, of course.
Yeah, well, certainly, I hope so. Again, what date was this?
It was Thursday, June 13th.
That's very recently. We had Art Kinney on, who talked about the wonderful store you do have there. I think that's deplorable. I hope they do have a change of conscience, or else their karma's going to get them.
Well, thank you very much. I know that you have other callers pertaining to your guests, so I
Well,
will say
I thank you for the
and
call,
goodbye.
and again, I want to repeat your message. Drop by at your little store on Main Street. You're right next to the nursing store, which incidentally seems to be closing down.
I heard that, sadly.
Yeah, and but at any rate, right off the corner of Market Street on Main, and you can
Yes,
go in.
59 East Main Street.
And you can go in and pick up a cat for virtually nothing if you are really broke. They take whatever amount you want to give them for an adoption, just to have a nice cat in a nice home.
They
So-
still have to apply, however.
Okay.
So they have to meet our requirements for an adoptive home.
Oh, yes, they must still be alive and warm.
Thank you, Reed. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you very much, Celeste. They have so many beautiful cats that are just thrown away, and they take care of them. They're so, I don't know, so they're God-chosen people. They do this on their own, voluntarily. And
I do want to get to something that Celeste mentioned. I'll get back to it in a second. In response to your question, what does hospice do?
Yeah, what's hospice do? We found out you provide care at home, and you were giving us more explicit details.
A physician oversees the care plan for every hospice patient, and more often than not, it's the person's primary care physician, the doctor they've seen for years and years and years, works with hospice to write a care plan, and they do that in conjunction with our medical director, Dr. Thomas Putnam, who's the only hospice and palliative care certified doctor in the county. Dr. Putnam is board certified to do that. We also have a registered nurse that works very closely with the family to to help assess patients and family needs every 2 weeks, sometimes every single week. And they adjust the things that are being brought into the home to help patient achieve quality of life and the family to help do things.
Well, we'll continue in a second. You want to take a call or somebody waiting on the phone?
Sure.
Well, good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning. I had a question. There's a number of folks that I know that have some time on their hands, and I hear that you have hospice volunteers. Could you tell us about those and how do you become one?
You become a hospice volunteer by calling Mary Jo Bradish, who is our volunteer coordinator, at 753-5383. Ask for Mary Jo and tell her you want to volunteer. And our volunteers do all kinds of things. They work with patients and their families in their homes, not doing clinical stuff, but reading, visiting, running errands, being a friend, anything. If you can think of anything that a friend would do for a good friend in need, that's what the volunteers do. We currently have over 60 volunteers, and not all of them work directly with patients. Some people are not comfortable doing that. Volunteers help us in the office, they help plan events, they help operate events, they help support the people who are seeing patients, all kinds of opportunities. And of the 60 plus folks we have, they provided last year almost 4,000 hours of volunteer service, which is the equivalent of 2 full-time equivalent paid hospice workers. Invaluable. And in fact, hospice is required to have 5% of the hours of service we provide to the community being delivered by volunteers.
Do you need volunteers right now?
We always need volunteers, always welcome. Volunteers go through about a 20 to 24-hour formal training session in order to learn what the rules are, what the expectations are, how they're delivered, and to get to know how hospice works and how they can add value to not just the organization, but more importantly, to the patients they work with.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Again, if you wanted to volunteer, give them that phone number again.
The number is 753-5383, and the person to ask for is Mary Jo Bradish. And anyone in the office obviously can help direct you.
Okay, there you go. I think it's certainly a wonderful, wonderful God-given pursuit to help someone who is in real need. The hospice program takes care of people that are really needed.
It's very fulfilling, and the volunteers and the paid staff provide a nice mix when we work with families in their homes. Let me get back to Celeste, and I don't want to miss it because we might run out of time today. One of the services that we do, and we don't get paid for, and that's okay, there's no reimbursement for this, in addition to the doctor, the nurse, the home health aide, a social worker who helps deal with family kinds of issues, grief counselors that help before a person passes away, and then obviously after when grief becomes very intense. We also provide and those are all required services for hospice to do, and that's governed by Medicare. We also go well beyond that and provide physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech, nutrition, massage therapy to help people when they're feeling pain. Massage is very therapeutic, and we go in and help do those kinds of things. We have certified massage therapists, music therapy, art therapy, and for Celeste, pet therapy.
Oh, really?
One of the things that's very, very important is to maintain the integrity of a person's life and lifestyle through the very end of life. And all of these services are designed to do that, to help keep the family functional and the patient comfortable and pain-free so that they can enjoy the highest quality of life possible. One of the things, we all have pets, cats, dogs, koi fish. I happen to love koi fish. Guppies, monkeys, you name it.
Koi fish aren't very affectionate, are they?
Oh, mine love us.
Oh, really?
Oh, they're terrific.
How do they demonstrate this love?
They come to the top of the water and they open their mouths and they go, "Well, feed me." You don't have to walk them. You can talk to them. They don't talk back.
Right? No litter box?
No, nothing. And our koi pond is in the hospice office.
Oh, right
It's
inside,
also
huh?
very relaxing.
Now, koi is a goldfish.
It
A
is.
great big carp.
Well, we keep them small.
Oh, you keep them small.
We don't have that much space.
Uh-huh.
But we find it, if we're going to be a family-like organization, we try to make our office and our operations family-like as well. Very comfortable setting at the hospice office, both in Fredonia and the main office in Lakewood. But among the other things we do is we provide pet services.
Now, that's very important.
It's very important. The last thing you want to be worried about is what's going to happen to my cat, what's going to happen to my dog or fish or monkey, whatever it is. I can't take care of them anymore. And we received a grant this year, a small amount to get this started. We feed the dogs, we'll take them to the vet, we'll get them groomed, and so we'll do anything so that, within reason obviously, so that the pet can stay home with their buddy. And their friend and partner, whoever it is, has the pet with them, and they don't have to worry about what's going to happen to my pet when I'm gone.
What does happen?
Try to keep them right where they are, and family members take care of them.
Try to pawn them off on someone else?
Or we call people like Celeste. We have a cat or we have a dog, and they're in need of a home, and you provide a transition.
Yeah, there's canine rescue too in Westfield. Westfield has two major rescue sites, one for cats, one for dogs. Can't believe it.
Right.
And Celeste, God bless her.
Pets are a very important part of our lives.
I think they are. And as a matter of fact, some people like their pets more than they like their own kids.
That's very true. That is very true in a lot of cases. One of the other things we do that helps relieve pain is we have an acupuncturist on staff that comes around and does pretty good work in helping to ease pain. And that's, if you're in pain all the time and you have a terminal diagnosis, you don't have much joy in life.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we do is to put the pain away, manage it, make people comfortable, and find things that they can achieve joy from. And that's in a nutshell, that's what hospice is all about. It's a given that we're all going to die. People who are in the process of dying and requiring end-of-life care have to define what kind of end-of-life care is going to give people the greatest comfort, the greatest pleasure, and the highest quality.
Right, and you take care of that.
And we do.
And of course, every time you appear, this is the third time, I always have to ask the question, since you do what the patient wants, what if I told you, off me, I want out?
No.
Too much pain.
No. We'll manage your pain, we'll make you comfortable, and you'll change your mind.
When I'm in deep coma?
My father-in-law died in our home, and our hospice took care of him. And Joe was an 86-year-old steelworker, tough as nails. And all he would say to me was, Ron, I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. He was basically very uncomfortable. He started receiving hospice care in Buffalo, and we moved him into our home in Fredonia and received hospice care from us. He didn't say that anymore. He wasn't in pain, he wasn't afraid, he wasn't uncomfortable. He had a whole new circle of friends. The family got extended, and it was very comfortable. And he died very peacefully. It was a foregone conclusion he was going to die. He was very, very sick with congestive heart failure. His whole perspective changed. Because the focus wasn't on pain and discomfort. The focus was on watching the Yankees on television, which is what he was doing when he died, with his hospice aide by his side.
And a good dinner. Do you guys cook for them sometimes?
Probably, but it's not part of the routine service.
It's not the regular
I can't
service,
say that we don't.
You might make a sandwich anyway.
It's like when you're visiting, you go into a friend's house, and they're incapacitated for whatever reason, and they're hungry. Are you going to make them a sandwich? Absolutely.
Sure. Well, now tell me, how long have you been doing this in Chautauqua County? Has this program been in effect?
Hospice started in Chautauqua County as a Medicare certified program 19 years ago. 20th anniversary will be in 2014.
Wow, now that's quite a while, and it's been obviously successful.
There is a need, and we like to believe that the hospice in Chautauqua County knows what that need is, because we don't make it up. We listen to people all the time, and we change what we do and grow, all the time. It's been successful in that we take care of When I said about a little better than 50% of the people who pass away in Chautauqua
You
County.
said that'd be about 1,200 or something?
That's 1,200 in total. We take care of help take care of, to put it properly, 650 people a year, and that's about 85 people a day in Chautauqua County who are right now dying. They're in the last period of their lives, and they've, through their doctors or themselves, anyone can make a referral to hospice. All they have to do is call. Typically, the referrals come from families and their physicians, because the primary care physicians in Chautauqua County, who have long-term relationships with people, know when they're getting to the end of life, and they make a phone call and say, expect a phone call from Ron, or could you give Ron a call for us? And the person gets into hospice care. About 85 people a day. 85 people right now in Chautauqua County are receiving hospice care where they live.
Okay, now, 85 is not a total figure, because you give hospice care not only to the patient, but to the people who are caring for the patient.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you could be serving an awful lot of people.
It's the patient who is admitted to hospice, and we're really inserting ourselves in their lives. And we become, and people tell us this, we become part, not me or we, the staff and the volunteers who work for hospice become a part of that family. And they extend what the family does. They don't change routine. We try to incorporate what we do or what is done into the family's routine. Whatever the family's belief set is, whatever their lifestyle is, wherever they live, however they live, hospice becomes an extension of that and extends what the family does. If a person likes to eat at 7:30 in the morning and the family needs help in doing that, we'll be there at 7:30 in the morning.
Whip up some
to help.
Cheerios at 7:30 in the morning.
Help them do it. And if the family is just plain tired, and this is hard work. You're trying to maintain your job, maintain your own family, take care of a loved one who's at the end of their life, and sometimes you just need relief. We also offer respite care, so people can get a break, and the patient can be admitted to a hospital, not for care, but for rest. Not for them, but for their family, so they can recharge their batteries. And that's reality when you're caring for someone who's dying for 6 months or more, and they're living at home, and you haven't been able to get out to shop or be at a movie, or just on a day like today walk through a park. The respite care is there for that.
Okay, so you basically provide care for anybody who is in need of extra care, who's terminal, who's coming to the long
That's right.
final end.
That's right.
And you can't, of course, you can't be sure that they're going to pass away within a year, but I assume some of them probably outlast the program in terms of the year.
Some people do stabilize and actually get well enough to no longer need hospice care at that time.
Of course, this is a rarity, I'm sure.
It's not uncommon, it's not unusual, but it's a small number of people. Medical science is great. People rally and they get comfortable. Those people are discharged, and once you're discharged from hospice, if and when, and it's more when than if, the disease comes back, you just re-enroll in hospice. Hospice is the one benefit where you can come and go as you please. You can sign up and say, I'm feeling better, I don't need this intrusion in my family, I'm doing just fine, so don't come for a while. And then they call us back in a month or 2 weeks or 3 months, things aren't going so well again, and hospice comes back in and works with them.
So you could be on it and off it and back on it without
Exactly right.
any hassle. There's no real hassle here.
Hospice is an entitled benefit. We all pay for it. Medicare, we all pay into Medicare, which is why there's no charge, because we're already paying in our Medicare payroll tax. It's yours, you own it. I own it, you own it, everyone has access to it. And if you're not covered by Medicare, Medicaid covers it, and every commercial insurance company that we deal with has a hospice benefit. The VA has a hospice benefit. And if you have no benefit, we have a fund to pay for it. And the rules always apply.
Probably be better off than the average senior on Social Security. Yes, what this is cat food.
It's cat food.
And that's because
we're going to have lunch.
Senior citizens will be eating cat food shortly because the federal government is not giving them their COLA, the fair COLA. In other words, the cost of living is jumping far beyond what they're giving, like 3 years in a row almost with nothing. And so at this point, in the last 10 years, according to Standard & Poor's and several pundits who follow these things, the senior dollar has shrunk to 47 cents. In other words, you can put about half in the basket for your Social Security that you got 10 years ago.
Really?
Which is why AARP has now formed a group to feed seniors who are in need. Many seniors haven't got the money to buy decent food anymore, and many of them are losing their homes. They're going to be living in their children's basement, eating cat food. It's cheap. You know, during the Depression, seniors ate cat food. So that's what that's here to remind.
I'm well aware of that.
Remind Congress that you're shirking your duty. You don't care about the senior citizens, and it's very obvious in that you have not been giving them a fair COLA, which is the only thing that saves them from the horrible creation of inflation, which they've created.
Now, we're very fortunate, Reed, to have a very active Office for the Aging in Chautauqua County.
Yes, we do. Marianne is terrific.
She is absolutely terrific, and she does marvelous, marvelous things. And one of the programs that I'm sure they have in place is making sure that seniors are well nourished.
Okay, we got a phone call. You want to take a call?
Sure.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning. This is Linda Spalding.
Oh,
Good morning,
Linda.
Ron. Good
Morning,
morning,
Linda.
Reed. I can vouch for the fact that Mary Ann is terrific because I work for Mary Ann.
Well, you
She's
know,
my boss.
she is the first and only Greek I've ever had on the show, too. Did you know that?
Her husband is
She's
Greek,
terrific.
Reed. She's told you that.
Gee, how I forget so easily.
But she has really. She prepares wonderful Greek dishes and participates
Slovaki.
in the yasu and the festivities.
Right. She's noted all over the county for Slovaki. It's fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's a wonderful cook, anything she makes. But I also wanted to mention, Ron, that my husband and I had the services of your hospice recently. And I have to say that there is no other organization, there are no other people that are like the hospice workers. They are magnificent. They are so consoling, so competent, so sympathetic. They take care of the patient and they take care of the family that's caring for the patient. I can't say enough wonderful things about hospice.
Well, Doug, we will certainly miss him. He was a saint among the broadcasters, as far as I'm concerned. And his two dogs. You know, had dogs that could play the piano, and now you're teaching these to play, right?
Nice. Yeah, thank you, Linda. Just something that I should have emphasized before. You referred to it as your hospice. Talking to me, but actually it's your hospice. This hospice is owned by and governed by citizens of Chautauqua County. Not a government agency. It's a freestanding operation, and it belongs to the citizens of Chautauqua County. And all of us who work at hospice are absolutely privileged to be able to do that. The Board of Governors of Hospice Chautauqua County are just terrific, community-minded, forward-thinking people. The folks who give us advice on the satisfaction surveys that we get and the information we get back are absolutely helpful in defining what the service should be to meet the needs of people in Chautauqua County. And people like you, we thank you for your input.
Yeah, Linda's a case in point. Hello there.
Hey, doggy.
Well, I really was so amazed that what a wonderful group of people.
Now, what did Doug think of it? He was always very opinionated.
Oh, he appreciated what they did for him. He really appreciated, and I'm still in contact with the hospice people.
Well, are you volunteering in any way? I know you do
Not
a lot of
yet.
volunteer work.
I volunteer in the Lions Club. I haven't volunteered with hospice. I will a little bit later. His passing is still a little bit too fresh for me to get into that, but I intend to help out.
Okay, well, I hope so, because you are one terrific. I must say, you're very able in whatever you do, Linda. Now, you are doing a program for seniors right now, are you not?
A senior employment program, yes.
Uh-huh. What's that do?
Well, these are positions, it's called Senior Aid Program, where individuals get into part-time jobs, which are usually 20 hours a week for minimum wage, which is now $7.25 an hour. It's kind of like a training to work program. It gets them started to find something better. They're put at not-for-profit or government entities, and then they get back into the work situation. And studies show that when people are working, that they're active in the job market, they get jobs faster. And this is really true. I have seen this happen repeatedly. So it's a great program. We've had significant budget cuts.
We got the numbers right up here, 753-4471 if you want a job.
Correct.
You're a senior. 753-4471. You can't go wrong. Okay, Linda, I appreciate your call. And I'm going to let Ron speak a little bit about a big upcoming musical event, which I'm sure he wants to mention. And then we'll be moving on. So you have a great week.
Have a great week.
Yeah, I'm planning for that big picnic over in August. There you go.
I do want to talk about the musical event, but there's still more information about hospice.
Okay.
And the service we provide.
And you're going to run out of time, then you're going to be dead in the water.
I've got 3 minutes.
No.
2 minutes. 1 minute. Okay, here we go. Let's stop talking.
You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Hospice care is provided to everyone from the time they're born. We take care of pediatric children, and children are pediatric care, and we do that so that parents are able to keep their children at home and care for them at home rather than the nearest children's hospital. That's an important thing to do. I want to congratulate Randy on riding for Roswell, and a plug before the musical thing is we have a ride for hospice this Labor Day, leaves from Lakewood Park in Lakewood, New York, and that's to ask people to put together a team and help us raise money to defray some of our expenses.
Now, when is this ride?
Labor Day weekend.
Very important. And you can sign up for it well in advance, I'm sure.
Right. We're starting to do that now at our website, www.hospiceshotco.org, or call Megan D'Angelo at 753-5383.
Okay.
And on August 3rd, that weekend, we're having a concert at Bemis Bay Pops. An artist named Michael Israel who does crazy painting to music.
Oh, really?
And he jumps around and dances and prances.
That's my anniversary, 50th anniversary.
Well, buy a ticket and come.
Well,
the concert's going to be very exciting. We anticipate it'll be a major fundraising, and the paintings that he does are auctioned off.
Okay.
That's where the money end comes
where's the
in.
music come in here?
It's the Bemis Bay Pops.
Okay.
Plays the music, and that's in Bemis Point.
They almost got defunded, as I recall. But
I don't know.
They came up with some dough.
They called us and they wanted to do this event for it, as do many people.
Yeah.
And encourage you to, again, 753-5383. Megan D'Angelo can tell you how to get access to that.
Can work on that. Yeah, that'll be how long a ride?
Oh, the bike ride is just the way the Roswell one is.
Okay.
3 miles, 45 miles. Ours is not 100, but 50 miles.
We're out of here.
We're out of here.
They're throwing us off. 30 seconds to finish up.
Okay, Reed, it's been great being here.
Is that good having you again?
It's fun reconnecting with John Hamels. We find out that we've known each other for 40 years or so. And I'll come back and talk to your wonderful audience anytime you'd like.
Well, I appreciate that very much, and you do provide a wonderful service, and a very required service, I might add, in Chautauqua County. Ron Sellers, President of Chautauqua County Hospice, and if they want to get in touch with you, give them that number.
753-5383.
There you go, friends. You can check in with Ron, and I'm sure he will take care of you in any way he possibly can if you need his advice, information, or services. I want to say I'll give a great big salute of thanks to Chuck Kelsey, who founded this program, this station, Devin Taylor, Chris Burt, Randy Burt, who's out riding right now for Roswell. I want to thank Chris Ramaker, Jeff Zook, Don Zenz, and John Hamels. Get out there, dance, sing, ride your bike, just live in this beautiful environment we call Chautauqua County. May all that is proud and true and noble abide with you. I'm Reed Powers.